This is the Volkswagen Taigo, and I've done the research for you. It means you like social gatherings and meeting new people. So I guess if you like people, you'll like the Volkswagen Taigo. That's where they're going anyway, the marketing people. The car is now on sale in Ireland. It starts at late 20s. This version is €40,000. Not too long ago, okay, maybe 18 years or so, I was able to buy a brand new Golf GTI for less than this car. This has got a 1 litre, 3-cylinder engine. It's got an automatic gearbox in this model, 110 brake horsepower, although there's a 90 brake horsepower version as well. And this is kind of sluggish, so God only knows what the 90 is like. That's the negative stuff. However, it's actually really good looking. It handles very well. I have never seen such lightning quick gear changes, and it's actually a cool looking car. 3 trims, Life, Style and R-Line, which this is. R-Line gets chrome. You get standard LED headlights in all models. High gloss black going on. The colour is King's Red. Little grooves in your bonnet. And I came out of a shop the other night and the lady driving a Golf said to me, "I'm just admiring your car, it's lovely." And as well, it's not actually mine, it's Volkswagen Ireland's, and I'm just reviewing. She said, "What do you think?" I said, I kind of like it. She goes, she was driving a Golf, a white Golf, and I said, "It's not quite a Polo size, not quite a Golf size." She goes, "Yes, I was wondering what sort of size it is." But if you can spark the interest of a Golf owner into something like this, then the designers have obviously done their job. Design-wise, it's kind of like coupe meets hatchback, because that is the design of the car. It's based pretty much on the Volkswagen T-Cross, which we reviewed, I can't believe, 3 years ago on the channel. If you are interested in that versus the Taigo, you can hit the link there and see it. We're sitting on 18-inch alloy wheels, don't necessarily affect ride quality or harshness or even noise into the cabin, to be honest with you. I love this lit strip on the back. The fake exhaust, maybe not so much, and high gloss black down here. This car has a bigger boot than the Volkswagen Golf. It's 440 litres. You have storage down here with an actual spare wheel, those little hooks that hold up that shelf if you're getting at things, and you can drop that floor down a little bit if you want to make your boot even deeper again. 440 litres, come on, that's impressive. I'm not 6 foot, unfortunately, about 5'10", and this seat is adjusted for me, but I can still have a bit of room here. That's quite acceptable. There's 2 USB-C charging ports in the back. Again, a lot of cars don't provide that. There isn't an armrest, kind of standard for this segment of car. And the little lip on the seats here just give you a little bit more thigh support, but it's a combination of, do you want your thighs supported or do you want your feet and legs with somewhere to go, because you can't really have both. The sloping roofline doesn't really impede on your headspace. There should still be plenty of it, and there's some small spaces at the back of the seats for storing things, much like the door boxes inside the car. A little bit of luxury greets you up front here. Solid front doors, lovely modern Volkswagen steering wheel. The infotainment is an older style generation, so if you prefer that, physical buttons, colourful displays. It works, it's tried and tested. It's got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless charging up here, a little bit of space for storing things and an armrest. We have a manual handbrake. The most disappointing thing, I suppose, is the fact that you're getting manual air conditioning in a car that in this case costs €40,000. You'd kind of be looking for the climate control. There's 2 USB-C charging spots down here, but good quality plastics throughout, soft and squidgy. If that is your thing, then you will be happy out. And the glass roof, it's just nice to have a glass roof that opens, and you get storage for glasses and things that you might actually notice are gone from things like the Volkswagen Golf. But again, this is far beyond the Golf price at this level. It's kind of similar price to the Golf. Boot is bigger, but I think perception-wise, you'd find this car looks anyway bigger than a Volkswagen Golf, and certainly just width-wise and maybe a little bit of rear legroom space, that would be the case. But the boot, can't argue with it. 95 brake horsepower and 110, just to recap on the brake horsepower output of the car. The gear changes are really, really smooth. Like I'm in shock actually at just how quick. You're barely doing maybe 30, 40 kilometers an hour and the car's already in fifth and in some cases sixth gear. It's a 7-speed automatic gearbox, 6 if you go for manual. Smaller engine means fuel economy is pretty good. You're talking 7 litres per 100 kilometers from a petrol engine over the last 1,300 kilometers. It is smooth, it's quite refined. I mean, if you really do load the engine, but it's still, to me, doesn't sound particularly 3-cylindery quite a lot of the time. I've seen some reviews where it's loud under load and clattery. I'm not sure if I agree. I'd be quite tolerant now of this, and I've certainly driven other 3-cylinders that certainly make their presence just a bit more known. You're sitting low down in it. It's a low down seating position anyway in a low down car, and that gives you greater control over body roll. It actually handles very well. Now, there's a 1.5 TSI 150 brake horsepower engine. I don't see it listed on Volkswagen's website, so I don't know if you could special order that if you particularly wanted that size engine, or really why you'd probably want it in a car like this, because you're just going to push the price up to even more insane levels. You've got frontal collision avoidance, you don't get blind spot, you can spec a reversing camera depending on what model you go for. It is handy to have, and I just one thing, once you settle into a journey in this car, steering wheel feels very premium. That always helps. You know, you feel better about yourself. Seats are supportive and firm, and it's an excellent car for carrying 4 passengers. And you could argue it's practical enough with that 440 litre boot as well. It's not quite best in class, but it's not far off it. Even there under load, I don't find it particularly loud. For a 3-cylinder engine, VW have disguised that rather well indeed. You get radar guided cruise control, so if you do a lot of motorway driving, you'll be able to set the distance between you and the car in front, and the car will just tip along very, very nicely. Thank you very much. So from a driving perspective, it can be a little bit sluggish at times, and you've got to floor it to get some action some of the time, but otherwise I find it very, very smooth to drive. And if it was a car that you were spending a lot of time driving around the city centre in, then I think you would be kind of happy out, actually. And it's a perfect size city car for that. So the Taigo from Volkswagen, it's not cheap, but it's actually pretty good. Volkswagen have actually managed to fit quite a lot into the new Taigo, and you'll see it everywhere. They're advertising it quite a bit. You'll see it on ads on bus stops and things like that. I think it's a quirky little car, a little bit bigger than something like the Skoda Fabia, but obviously the price jumps quite a bit when you get into R-Line territory, and that is somewhere that I just don't think many people are going to want to go in this segment of car. But if you stay away from certainly the higher spec options, maybe go for the mid-spec. Don't go too mad on your alloys, and maybe leave your glass roof, although they are all lovely. Automatic gearbox, super slick, but as long as you stay away from that, the price will kind of stay reasonable and what you'd expect for this size of car. However, in this spec, it's just far too expensive, and maybe someone who's retired, they might have a few quid to spend, and this is all they need in terms of a car, and they want a bit of comfort and stuff like that. But for the rest of us, you've got to be looking at the price and saying, 40? Okay. Cheaper option, mid-spec, might be something in there for you. Any comments or questions, very welcome in the comment section down below. Thank you for sticking with me this far. Thank you for subscribing if you have already done, and if you haven't, please do, and I'll see you in the next one.